The United States Marine Corps has a publication on harm reduction among service members, and it has a list of things that are issues. And so what it is, 11 possible risk indicators, including things like prior suicide attempts, a history of psychiatric hospitalizations, and substance abuse, among a bunch of other things as well. And Marine officials are instructed to use this document as a guide to identify and address risky behavior. Now, would you like to take a guess as to one of the things that's on this list that probably shouldn't be on the list? No, it's not sexual orientation, thank goodness. It's not race, thank goodness. They decided lack of spiritual faith is an indicator of possible harm, an indicator of a psychological issue, and a problem that needs to be looked upon. It's amazing how in some segments of our society, we're stuck in like 1947. Now understand, and it's not just the military, because you see this sprinkled throughout other areas of society as well. So, for example, the DSM, I believe it's called the DSM, I don't know why I'm blanking right now, but the main psychological manual that people use, you know, it started a long time ago, and they update it all the time. And it used to be that homosexuality was viewed as a mental disorder. And then that eventually was dropped late, I think in like the 80s or something like that, and ridiculous. But also, so for example, today, what's the thing called sexually where, for some reason, I don't remember the name, where, you know, people dress up in like leather and they have whips and chains and, you know, they have fun that way. And not even necessarily hurting people, just having sex and dressing up in different ways. Well, in the psychological manual, that's still viewed as a disorder. Why? So it's just what some people are into. Some people like, you know, dressing up certain ways or wearing the big stiletto heels or some assless chaps or whatever the case is. I don't care, I'm not going to get into your private life. But why would that be viewed as a disorder? Somebody could be completely normal, do no harm to anybody, but just like doing things like that. But this is what I mean when I say examples of an old school mentality of, oh no, what we need to do is only have sex with the lights off in the missionary position, and it has to be terribly boring. No, that's not normal. That's stupid. That's not fun at all. What are you talking about? Well, this is the same thing. They look at you, if you're not religious, they look at you like you're not complete. Like the religious person figured something out that you haven't yet, and you're just stunted from a spiritual perspective, and something's off. Something's not right. You need to sit down and read the Bible a little longer, or listen to, you know, a priest say things to you, and eventually it'll click and you'll go, oh, Jesus is correct and right. Yeah, but the point I've been trying to get across, and you guys know this, is that if anything, the opposite is true. If anything, it's a sign of psychological health. If from an intellectual perspective, you're not religious, or not even necessarily, you know, not believing in God, but just non-religious. So if you're a deist, that's very similar. It says, I believe in a God, but not necessarily a particular religion. Or if you're an agnostic or an atheist, that shows that you're willing to actually think about these things and rise above the fray and say, I'm not going to believe something just because the culture I was raised in, the society I was raised in, tells me to believe it, even though they don't present any evidence. So if anything, it shows psychological health, and it shows reaching another intellectual plateau. And they view it as the exact opposite. No, you're missing something. You're not complete because you haven't bought into the bullshit that everybody else bought into. Sorry, buddy, the problem's not with me. The problem is with you guys, because apparently all of you are proud sheep.